Now, when we ask them, okay, what is the change that you have brought in? The answer what we get is, um, we have daily stand-up meeting. We conducted sprint. We have had sprint planning meeting. We have had backlog. We used story points. We have had definition of done, definition of ready, sprint review, sprint retrospective, and it's endless.
If a fresher or maybe a 5-year or 10-year or in fact 15-year experienced guy wants to suddenly switch careers, because some are completely technical guys who don't want to get work on technical things anymore, what would be the step-by-step approach which you would say? And this is hello friends, welcome to yet another episode of Tech Talks with Anshul, our podcast where we bring people from IT industry. This episode is very special for two reasons. Number one, I am recording it for the first time from India, and the second reason is I have my dear friend Anuj, who was my college mate. We did our engineering together. I was roll number 10, he was roll number 11. We studied together, we hustled together, and today he is a co-founder of company called as Benzne. He provides agile transformation to the customers across the globe. And out of the batch of 50, I think he is the only one who's a full-blown entrepreneur doing agile and teaching and coaching people on agile. So I thought that this whole episode would be very good for people who want to learn agile, who want to build their career in agile. So I have called Anuj today, and it gives me immense pleasure and it's a privilege to have him on my podcast. I'm very happy and comfortable because I'm talking to a friend. Hi, Anuj. How are you doing today?
Hi, Anshul. Thank you so much. I can resonate the excitement that we both are sharing today. Haven't ever thought that this day will come when we will be coming together on a platform and talk about work and also how things have changed around us. I'm super psyched about the fact that you are doing so much good with ITK Funday, which is also a kind of viral channel. And I'm feeling blessed that today you also invited me. Trust me, if it wouldn't have been an online forum, we would have used some different tone to talk. But I think we do need to also share with your audience about things they want to learn about agile, the way how things are happening. So I'm super excited to look forward to the questions that you have in mind, and let's see that what we could share with your audience.
Perfect. So the theme is very clear. I have an agile expert in front of me. So I have seen your journey, Anuj. You started as a tester, if I'm not wrong. Then you moved into agile slowly. I think you were a business analyst, then a domain consultant, and later on you picked up agile. So exactly at what time in your career agile actually happened to you? And when did you felt that okay, now I could take this as a career? Because you started way back. I think now agile has become a norm, but during those days I want to know how your journey has been.
15 years back, I can recall myself doing the proper tester job into waterfall environment, and then have got project to play the role of business analyst. And then suddenly there was this customer who told that we won't give the business unless you all do agile. And that's when we have been asked overnight to learn about agile. It was a lipstick job because our expectation was very clear that when you talk to the customer, you should talk in the terms of agile. Trust me, nobody in our group knew what happened. And then I got chance to fly to Norway, and that was when I felt that the life has changed. Because in truest sense, I felt that they were doing what they're supposed to be done. Being from a service industry in India, it wasn't easy for us to adhere to the truest expression of what it means. So yes, it's been 15 years, and trust me, Agile has made ripples. It has changed a lot. There would be no such team in any of the IT industry all around, which is not knowing or is not doing any of the Agile practices today. So it's far,
Right.
far wrong. Yes.
Perfect. So I think there's countless material, online training courses, everything on agile. So the focus would be more on the career aspect of it, but to set the tone and to set the background, and to someone who is still new to agile or who's still trying to get the grip of the basics of agile, how you would explain agile to a layman?
Okay. Agile is about continuously moving towards the right direction. With the world changing, we are in a VUCA world. It's like volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity all around. And early before, the customers or the companies used to tell the consumers, "Shut up and do the things what we are asking you to do." Remember when we were in school, there used to be this canvas shoes with a green rubber. We had no other option. Today's kids are wearing all kind of shoes, but we were had having this one canvas shoe, and that was the only option we were having. But with digital world and software industry popping the way how it should be, now the consumers are more smart, they have more options, and things are continuously changing. And you also know that the demands are letting us face the heat of the competition. So with that note, the need of agile popped up. Now need of agile popped up. Suddenly the market also knew that, hey, now everybody wants to do agile, they want to learn agile, and the certification industry also started becoming very hot. So now for the learners of this podcast, how to get yourself into agile journey, if we talk about that, I'll give you a perspective. I will first expect you all to be the part of an agile environment where you join it as a learner, be there for a couple of months or years if needed. Don't think about getting certified first, and because that will give you a kind of false feeling that, hey, now I'm a certified something, and that's where the goof up happens. If you really want to get certification done, before you getting smarter, so make one thing sure that your company is sponsoring it. It's not the money from your pocket, because anyhow it won't help you. So if company is sponsoring it, go for it. Number one. Number two, if you are looking for a job change and you think that this will help you, go for it. Again, it's not going to help you because you haven't been your get your hands dirty into agile environment yet. Number three is, if your boss or management is saying that you will get a promotion only when you will have a certification, just don't think about it, go for it. But if you really, in a truest sense, want to understand what is the need of certification, certification is once you got yourself into the world of agile, where you played your role as a product owner, as a scrum master, as whoever needed, and after having a couple of case studies, you have actually managed to solve the problem or bring the agility in the environment, where agility means making things faster, and keeping the quality intact, and also continuously delivering, and also bringing the fabric in the team or organization where failing is okay. Failing faster is what you are looking for. Continuously delivering the outcome is what matters the most. So that's where you need to be first. And once you be there, you want to get yourself validated. You want to validate your knowledge, then those certification will be very helpful. So my
Right.
take here is, first and foremost, before becoming a mentor, first be a mentee. Before becoming a teacher, first you become a student. uh, get into the environment, learn slowly, absorb as much as you can, and then see how it goes. Yeah.
Right. No, that's a very valid point, because right now what I see in the industry is that everyone is running behind a certification, be it a certified Scrum Master or certified Product Owner. There are these buzzwords around Agile. I would come to those words, and I would want you to simplify those words for everyone. But on certification part, don't you think, Anuj, that it's a vicious circle? Because uh, to get into agile you need certification, and unless you don't get certification, no one takes you into agile. So it's kind of a loop, right? So I want to understand that if someone is trying to get into agile and no one is giving them the opportunity to work in agile, then do you think a certification like a certified scrum master would help?
I will tell you. So we
Mhm.
have a lot of certifications such as certified Scrum Master, certified Scrum Product Owner, a professional Scrum Master, and many of them are in the market today. And you know what has happened? The way we see in market today, the resumes, even when we hire for our firm, we see that the people, they have no hands-on experience. They just got to know some kind of referral from somebody that, you know what, just go for certified scrum master. We take their interview in 10-15 minutes. We just have to reject and tell them that, okay, it's not going to work for us. Again, idea is, no hope is better than bad hope or wrong hope,
Mhm.
Anshul.
Mhm.
um,
Mhm.
Many times when we see scrum masters today in the market, who are they? Mostly they are testers. Okay.
Mhm.
Suddenly they got this notion that, we are going to be out of the system, and now, we still need to be someone into the system. Better you go for scrum master. Scrum master has become a safety net for them. Other people who become a product owner, they are who? They are the business analysts. Okay. So business analysts, we get this feeling that, hey, you know what, we can be product owner. It's something related to requirement. Let's go for product owner, because see, it's like you are not changing your mindset and understanding what product owner is. You are not changing your mindset and trying to understand what scrum master is. You're just trying to find is what is the nearest escape that you can take. Project managers of the old times they found out that, you know what, it's about managing people. Scrum Master is also managing people. Let me become a Scrum Master. Hey, you know what, tester is becoming a Scrum Master. I'm a project manager. I should become agile coach. So if you see the kind of mess we are into around, it is very bad. And I have taken interviews of people who have put in so much of money to get certified, and until they are actually now regretting because they got disappointed by getting rejected so many times. So my take
Right.
there, yeah, my take there is, if you really want to get into agile environment, first be anyone in the agile environment. Be a tester in the agile environment. Be a developer in the agile environment. Be anyone. That's okay.
Right.
Your mindset should be more about, there is a problem. Now we need to respond to change. We don't have to react to change. Okay, change is something
Hmm.
inevitable. And now
Right.
what you are doing as a developer tester, you are getting this mindset first that I am my code is not my copyright. Okay, anybody can change my code. It's a collective code ownership. Okay, it's not like creating a bulk of getting bulk of requirements from the product team. Then only I will develop. No, no, no. It's not like that anymore. You have to focus on just enough requirements. You have to create a just enough outcome. You have to iterate and continuously get feedback, fail faster, deliver the MVP, and move on. So that mindset needs to be changed. So you be the part of that environment first, and then you
Hmm.
talk about changing the environment by being Scrum Master. But if
Right.
you just imagine, Anshul, you remember that when we graduated, after that, few colleagues of ours have gone for MBA. Okay, and today also, and for a couple of years, we were getting this feeling that if you are not an MBA, you can't be a manager.
Hmm.
Right?
Right.
Who-
Right.
Yeah, but we might not have done MBA, but if we learned how to manage things, I think that is also
You're
a strong.
running a company, come on. So you are a running MBA in front of me. So I totally agree. I totally agree that certifications, I totally get that. And I think whoever is listening to this podcast would resonate with you that first we need to, so just to summarize, we need to first get into a development team, because there's a development team, there's a scrum master, and then there's a product owner. So you just get into the development team, understand the nuances of agile, and then move on to further roles. But there's an interesting question on one thing which you said. In 15 minutes you understand whether someone has done agile or just done a mug up. Can you
Yeah.
give me one or two questions which you ask, which helps you distill that gap, that okay, has he done hands on versus has he just mugged up from internet or just got a certification?
So, Anshul,
Can
there
you
are
give
many
some
ways
instance?
by which we can get to know, but since you asked for two questions, I'll start from there. So, what happens that when people come up for interview, they talk about who they are, what they have become. They do not talk about what change have they brought in. So, first question for us is when we ask them, tell me something about yourself, and then they talk about all certifications and everything. Then, what brought brings curiosity to us is, okay, have they been humble enough to talk about the impact that they brought into the respective team or for the customer or for the company they have worked on or not? Now, when we ask them, okay, what is the change that you have brought in? The answer what we get is, um, we have daily stand-up meeting. We conducted sprint. We have had sprint planning meeting. We have had backlog. We used story points. We have had definition of done, definition of ready, sprint review, sprint retrospective, and it's endless. Then I have to put the question again that, okay, I understood. Can you please tell me what is the impact have you brought in? Because these are all practices that you have implemented. Practices are meant to bring the outcome. But you still talked about all these aspects like, okay, definition of done and all those things. Oh, I was coaching the team. Okay, fair enough. Another abstract word called coaching. Then I asked the question, okay, what is coaching? What do you do in coaching? I was facilitator. And then I asked, what is facilitator? So what happens that, Anshul, they just know keywords. They start throwing the keywords all around. And then you get to
Hmm.
know that this person doesn't understand. Then we ask, then there is another question that I made. Suppose they use the word called definition of done. Okay, just one word they use, definition of done. Then we ask this question, what is done and why this done came in before? And then again, they talk about certain answers like we have a tester done, we have a developer done, we have this done, we have that done. And again, we get to know the depth of their knowledge just by knowing that they never understood that done is only one, which is the last column on the board. Done is when the value has been consumed by the customer and they told that, you know what, team, my problem is solved. It doesn't bother me anymore. The requirement that I have given, it has been fulfilled. Thank you so much. My leading and lagging indicator are fulfilled. God bless you. Now, here what happened, this is what the done is. But what is the understanding in our world? It's just about, okay, my requirement is done. I have written it.
Hmm.
Your design wireframe is done. So this is where we feel that how narrow and hollow people have become. They never understood the kind of fabric that we want to bring in. Yeah.
And maybe that's where you said that that's why you need hands-on experience, that how you convert that. And I would add to this is that maybe there could be a guy or person who has not worked in agile but might know how the business transformation happens, and that guy might have an edge. He or she might not know the lingos or the internal functioning of agile, but he or she could pick up because he knows how to convert and derive business value using some tool, product, or technology or framework, and agile could be one of that.
100% Anshul, agile is a common sense. Okay,
Hmm.
uh, there are there are kids of 8 to 10 years old who can be a better Scrum Master than a person who might have had 35 years of experience into corporate world. Why? Because when we talk about bringing agility, first of all, you need to figure out that we have confirmation biases. We have so many other biases that we need to break. You need a courageous mindset. Also, one more anti-pattern I will tell you about what we think today agile in the market is. Every time when we ask the question to people, and that's going back to the previous question again. So tell us something about agile and what have you done in your project which makes you feel that you have been agile? Okay. And
Hmm.
the answer again is we have implemented Scrum.
Hmm.
No, Scrum is just one of the approach to bring agility. You have Scrum, Kanban, Extreme Programming, DSDM, RUP, AUP, Crystal, FDD, many of them. Then we ask them, okay, fine. Suppose there are multiple teams which are working together. How did you bring scaling? Because it's easy for people to put this certificate of safe nexus and everything, right? Now there has been people who were not certified, who were new. They have explained me the complex concepts of Spotify model, Nexus, Scrum at Scale, DAD, which I mean, of course, these are
Yeah,
jargons.
okay. I'll just stop you. There are some things which you just said. Can you
Uh,
just brief about that? Some of these terminology, because it would help people understand some of these.
So let's start with Scrum at Scale.
Mhm.
Scrum at Scale is also one of the very popular scale agile framework. Likewise, we have almost everybody might know about Spotify. So there is a Spotify model where they talk about how the multiple teams are clustered into
Is
build.
it the case study from Spotify or
Yeah.
how?
So
Okay,
yes,
okay.
yeah. So in
Mhm.
Spotify, what happened while they were when they were building Spotify, so they have used this model to bring agility in their system. So what they did
Oh,
for the group
okay.
of 50 to 100 people, they call it as tribe. Each team was called a squad. You
Sorry, could you
remember?
please come again on that? What
Each team was called squad.
squad?
Squad.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you remember we had this in the software companies. We have
Tribe and squad, right?
yeah,
Tribe.
tribe is a big tribe of like 8 to 10 teams, let's say.
Okay, okay.
It might have squad means like a scrum team, how we have. Squad is like a scrum team, which is
Right.
self-sufficient, self-organizing, cross-functional. And like suppose each scrum team might have front end, back end teams and so on. So suppose there is a front end technology and let's say it's HTML, CSS, and that one is required across multiple squads. So that center of excellence is called chapter. So you can have a front end chapter, you can have an Android chapter, you can have an iOS chapter, you can have a backend Java
Oh,
chapter. So these are called chapters. Okay.
is
So
it available online to some for someone to refer? Okay,
definitely, definitely. You can
okay.
look at. Likewise, we have Safe also scaled agile framework, which is
Yeah.
actually much more popular than any other scaling framework as I see today. While I must also be very honest to you, the popularity doesn't mean something is effective.
Mhm.
Okay, while it is indeed, but I just want to alarm everyone that there are many popular framework based on the marketing it might have happened, but it is very important that when you bring agility in any environment, maybe for a single team or group of teams or an entire organization, common sense is always applied. These frameworks are something good to refer to, But you don't have to be like a simple bhakt or slave, or you may say just obedient to a framework. You need to be
Hmm.
very pragmatic every time, just to figure out how can you bring your own balance. So
All
that's how.
right. Hmm, hmm, hmm. I think I would also want to understand from you that how these roles are set up today. For example, there is a role, Scrum Master role, then there is a Product Owner role. Now we are having, not now, but now Product Manager roles are coming. Then we have Project Managers. Sometimes the Scrum Master and Project Manager roles gets confused or mixed up with. So could you simplify in one or two lines what are the primary responsibility of each of these roles in the agile world?
Right. So let's start with this. Firstly, it all starts with understanding what is the problem that we want to solve. Okay. Now, if it's a very big problem, then you may know that there are a lot of people needed. Okay. And now, when there are a lot of people needed, of course, you can't have one team of 40 people or 50 people, right? So what you do, you then first of all decide your technology stack, or you understand how this problem can be decoupled into multiple objectives, and then we figure out that okay, let's say these are the domains we have been formed, and then we are trying to create some domain teams. Okay, so one best practice which has been experienced, Anshul, and it's also again based on what we have seen today, that a team should not be more than 8 to 10 people.
8 to
Now,
10 people, yes.
yeah, Scrum also says that, while I'll say if Scrum is also not there, okay, then also think about it. If you have more than 6 to 8 or 8 to 10 people, the
Does it
community.
apply for scaled agile as well? Does
Huh,
it
so
apply?
yeah, it does. So scale
Okay.
agile means what we do, the cluster of Scrum teams, the cluster of agile teams, they are put into a release train, agile release train.
Okay.
The agile
Okay.
release train should not be more than 50 to 125 people. So agile release train can have 5 to 10 teams also. Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
there also
But
is a
but one team should not exceed more than 9 or 10 members.
But
That's
yes, exactly. So imagine that there is a big product that you are building. For that big product, now you know a lot of people are needed. Out of that, also we want to put them into small buckets of team, and each team should not be more than 8 to 10 people. Let's say that's our understanding. Okay. Earlier, before, what used to happen, that everybody was talking to everybody, right? Even a customer can call anyone, and manager is coming and talking to anyone. So what we did, we have had separation of duties. So we are
okay.
closely aligned with the common shared goal, but we have separation of duty. Like there is one and only one person who will decide what needs to be done, why, and by when, and always becoming a voice of customer. That becomes a product owner role. Okay.
Okay.
Yes. This there is a term called backlog, which is list of requirements in the order of priority, which once get finished, the job is done. So that is managed by the product owner.
The
Okay.
product backlog, what you
Product
say.
backlog.
What you
Yes,
right.
exactly. So product
Okay. Hmm.
backlog is a baby of a product owner who is always working onto it and trying to find out how can I position the requirements in such a manner that we can deliver maximum impact with minimum work. That's the
Hmm.
goal. Okay.
Hmm.
Now
Hmm.
we need to find people who are Sarv Gun Sampann, or you may call it as people who have all the traits needed. Okay.
Okay.
So all the traits needed means you as a customer, or you maybe as a product owner, say that this is my requirement. So one thing is, you don't have to worry about what it takes. It needs Node.js, it needs Angular, it needs whatever it is, automation with SonarQube. You don't have to worry. You just have to tell that this is my problem, this is my requirement. Then we should have group of people who have all the traits needed to develop the solution. Okay,
Hmm.
that is called cross-functional team. Okay.
Okay.
So many people, they misunderstood that cross-functionality means every person should know all the technology. No, 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 no. It's not
Okay.
like that. So that's what the new famous word is, full stack developers. It's okay to have full stack, but idea here is you should have composition of a team which has two, three these skill set, three, four that skill set, one, two that skill set.
So I recently found, because there's different way to tweak things. So I found in one of my projects, business analyst, and correct me if I'm wrong, but business analyst was a part of the team, the cross functional team. Now we assume that product owner would do the heavy lifting of getting to the business, understanding the requirements and all. But do we need business analyst in the cross functional team, or is it just some sort of a leeway for the product owner to have some peaceful weekends? Or
So see, so idea is we have a product owner is not dedicated to a single team. In that case, a product owner may have identified, or the structure or the environment might have felt that we can't replicate same kind of product owner. It might be too expensive either for the system or whatever. So what they do is they put this role called product analyst or a business analyst who is focused to a respective team. So and team shouldn't miss the product owner's availability. Okay,
Right.
so in that
Right.
case, it may make sense. So yeah, I mean, see, I'll tell you one thing that people today on social forum very conveniently debate about what is agile, what is not agile, and how they do it. They made Scrum guide and other detailings made by the champions of the agile industry as the word of Bible. Okay, now, you need to be very thoughtful about your own problem. Your problem is you can't have a product owner for individual team. That's something you can't afford in your system, let's say, or availability of a person is not easy. Then you may found a hack, which is identifying a business analyst. But if this hack is worthless, then we are
Right.
gone. We went on a toss. But if this guy, this role is making sure that I'm continuously in touch with the product owner, and product owner is also ensuring that these business analysts are actually translating the way how I need to it to be. They are the people who are empowered also to make sure they take the demo from the team and also sign off. I mean, they don't
Hmm.
need to come back and show me everything. So I'm not indispensable anymore as a product owner. Then that may make sense.
Makes
So
sense. Makes sense. Okay, so I think now we need to go to Scrum Master. I think we discussed the cross-function team, product owner. Who's a Scrum Master?
Scrum Master SM. SM is for Sankat Mochan. SM is for
Mhm.
Scrum Master. You know that Scrum Master is supposed to be a problem solver, timekeeper, removes bottlenecks, impediments, supposed to be the best buddy in the team, motivates everyone.
Facilitator. That word I've heard a lot.
Yes. So facilitator, I will tell you also a couple of the idiotic things which happens today in the name of facilitation. But let's say that also make sure I protect the team from the outside distractions so that my team get a focus time. Now, all in all, understand what do you want? You have formed a cross-functional team who needs to have a focus time, who don't get pulled into meetings. Number one, let's say the number one distraction in the world today is meetings, too many meetings, right? So Scrum Master has to make sure I want to give focus time to my team. Now, facilitation, when you say you are facilitating an event, what is what is your virtue? Your virtue is every event has a purpose. You are in a daily sync meeting or daily stand up, you may name it. At the end of the daily stand up, what is that one question that we all want to answer as an agile team? That at the end of the stand up meeting, are we going to finish what we have forecasted in the sprint planning meeting or not?
Hmm.
Okay. We have given an estimate. We have told that 12 items we are going to finish. Every day we meet for 15 minutes. At the end of the 15 minutes, we all need to collectively answer that whatever we committed, are we going to fulfill it or not? If not, what should we do? If yes, if we can finish before time, then can we pull more work? Do we have any blockers, impediments? That is where we need some help or to resolve. And for that, there are various techniques for doing the daily stand-up meeting. Now, what happens there that somewhere over the course of time, when you practice this agility or agile practices in the system, people lose the purpose. And what happens? That meeting itself becomes command and control. So this Scrum Master ends up becoming a taskmaster, Anshul. And how they
Hmm.
do it? Okay, Anshul, your update. Okay, Anuj, what's your update? Next, Sunita, what's your update? You are not supposed to do that. Your job is what? Your job is to create a self-organizing trait within the team. If you ask me, Anshul, whom should we award the best Scrum Master in the company, let's say 6 months down the line, I will tell you two, three things. Number one, that person is not needed anymore
Hmm.
because now the team is self-sufficient. Number two, the team needs to be high performing also at the same time. Okay, it shouldn't happen. The team is self-organizing and running a scam. The team
Hmm.
needs to be self-organizing and high performing at the same time. Okay. Number three, if this person managed to do these two traits, okay, I will suggest you that this person is going to be the hottest property in the agile market. And if you find someone, send the resume to us at Benzene. I'm going to
Okay.
hire right away.
Okay.
Because people think, see, there's a difference between immediate gratification and delayed gratification. The moment
Hmm.
they wear the hat of the Scrum Master, they think, hey, power, power, power. I become someone,
But that's
everybody.
an important point because see, people coming from traditional backgrounds,
Yeah,
coming from traditional so-called waterfall backgrounds, and I'll come to that agile versus waterfall question as well. People have been given authority to execute projects as a project manager to an extent. Now what I have felt, because I have never worked as a scrum master, but what I have felt is that there is a very subtle difference, a very thin line between facilitating and being authoritative. As a leader, are you a servant leader or are you a authoritative leader? So sometimes what I've seen is that you're absolutely right, people start taking the status from, rather than asking them about what you're facing, how I could be that guy who could help you move ahead. They start projecting as if, and because it comes from your inherent ego. If you think about it, every person has a need for fame, power, money, either of these three things. You are driven by these three things. So power is a very important aspect of it. And sometimes I feel this, that if someone has come from that power background where he has led or commanded a team, in good sense I'm saying, suddenly in the scrum master, if he comes and tells a developer that, boss, this is your user story and you said you would do it in so much time but still not there, suddenly that whole narrative changes, because now someone could say, you are a scrum master, you're not supposed to tell me how to maintain this. I have had this dilemma for a long time. Please help me resolve this.
100%, Anshul. So, see, I'll tell you, there is a saying called opposite of a profound truth is another profound truth. People think that this is the only way to do things, but they have never tried another way. And then there is another saying that birds born in the cage, they think flying is illness. So people who have worked into the waterfall model, suddenly you expose them to agile ways of working. They feel that this much of autonomy we never exercised in our life. We don't know how it's going to work and so on. We are currently also doing one of the transformation, Anshul, and there when we have been asked that what is that you need from us for to make it successful. So we told them that from leaders we need sense of urgency. If we are coming in the system in next 20 days, we want this to be launched. So an initiative. In next 20 days, we have pulled in 75 people in the same room. And after that, we have had a lessons learned event where people told that in this company from past 5 years we have been to, it has never ever happened so far that these all people we able to meet them in this event because it was all into about power centers, Anshul. So it's like, why
Hmm.
should I come and talk to you? You should come and talk to me. Why should that
Hmm.
happen? That should come. That should not happen that way. This is the way it should happen. So see the people with that mindset who, and I also understand, Anshul, there are four reasons why people don't change. First reason is fear of failure. They have been fearful so long that they always had this fear of losing job or losing dignity, whatever it is. So they have always having this fear of failure. Second is called ghost of the past. Okay, that is also stopping them to change. Third is what's in it for me, as we say in Hindi, mera kya fayda hai?
Hmm.
What's in it for me? Okay, and then comes the last part, hopelessness. Hopelessness means they know that this company will never gonna fire me. I change or I
Hmm.
don't change doesn't matter, right? I will always stay in this company, so why should I change? What is the point of
Hmm.
retire from this company, right? So we have seen in our experience of my 15 years of transformation journeys, I have seen this experience that these are four categories I have actually identified. So what my take here is that people, first of all, need to know that if you are trying to get into any new role, it's absolutely okay to shatter the bottle that you were into. Be a student, be a learner, get in that new role, let people breathe, you also breathe for some time, and over the course give yourself a chance to experiment. Don't punish yourself. Please don't punish yourself, and don't punish the people also who are around you. They have started using burn down chart, velocity graph, cumulative flow diagram, control chart as tricks and techniques to humiliate the teams and bully them. Okay.
Interesting.
Yes. Now
Interesting.
imagine, why are we using burn down chart? Burn down chart help us into knowing that as a team, what we have forecasted 10 days before, by the end of the sprint, how much have we managed to deliver, what we have planned. And also it's important to know that throughout the burn down chart, has it happened so far that requirement has been changed within the sprint or not? As there have been new change. It shouldn't happen. Okay. It is also important to know that is it happening that by the eighth day only the developers are giving the work to testers. By the time they are just coding, and on the last few days they're asking the testers that okay, big bang testing, and the quality is very poor. Burn down chart is made to collect insights, not to punish people. It is by the team for the team to improve and be their own better version in the next sprint onwards. Velocity graph. Velocity graph helps you into predicting based on the work that you are doing in the current and the past sprint. The velocity graph should not be the way to check that which team is more productive than another team. Are you getting me? There is no race going on. Every team has its own race. Are you getting me? Every team has its own
Hmm.
race. And first of all, they all are trying a lot to be better. So why should you say that hey, this team's velocity is 50, why your team's velocity is 30? There are 100 things by which it can be different. But again, people do it that way. Story point is a beautiful relative sizing concept. It has been also manipulated the way how people want it to be in the market. So what my say here is better don't say that you want to do agile. Waterfall is no bad. Only problem with waterfall is there you react to change, you don't respond to change. You want the
Hmm.
to be perfect, then everybody in the world just want to say that plan is always right.
Hmm.
Agile is after every 1 week we want to challenge the plan that we have made initially. That this plan can still be wrong. This plan can still be wrong. This plan can still be wrong. So if you think the changes are inevitable, it's coming all the time, go for it. But if you are
Hmm.
trying to come into agile environment just because a lot of money will be there, it's
Hmm.
a hot property in the market. You can be that you are actually fooling yourself. You know why? In 6 months, 12 months, somebody in the system will find out that this person is fake and you will be
Hmm.
kicked. Better not be fake. Better let go everything which is stopping you. Learn new things. Be hopeful. And I'm very confident that that person will fly with.
So, Anuj, I think you already answered one of the questions I was about to ask, and the question was: Is waterfall dead? Are we still using waterfall in an efficient way? Are there any scenarios where you could say that yes, you don't need agile, waterfall is a better solution, go for it?
Anshul, waterfall is not dead. It will never be dead. Why? I will tell you. See, waterfall is not used anymore at many places where the requirements are continuously changing or evolving. Imagine a scenario when you plan to come for a dinner at my home. Okay. We will know exactly what you want to have. We know that you have a constraint. You will come with a kid. Okay, we know that at this time you want to leave also, you will be planning to stay at our home at night. So we know what you need. In that case, when it's a small project, when you know everything about everything and you know there will be very minimal chance of deviation, then waterfall is perfect. Why do you want to iterate in this small duration? I will not just bring you to my home and I will make you taste one spoon and I want you to tell me that okay, is it good or not, and then I will go back and cook again. No, no, no. What I want to have a good time with you. The moment you come into home, I want to offer you a drink, and then I'll say okay, Anshul, this is a starter, and so on. Everything will be ready, right? So idea is when the projects are small, when you know that this initiative or project doesn't need much change, the requirements are super clear. Nothing going to change in that. Okay, or very minimal change. Bloody go for the waterfall. Don't think a lot. It's perfect plan. But moment you feel that no, I want to seek validation. Okay, requirements may evolve and change. Okay, whatever we create may get obsolete after some point of time. Okay, then you need to find out agile ways of working to bring agility in the system so that you know that you can be wrong. You want to
Right.
always shorten the feedback loop. Okay, so that the right people will come and they will keep on giving you this next bits of change and you will evolve. Yeah.
I think this calling for dinner analogy is really interesting. I get that, and wherever you don't need iterations, you are very clear.
Yeah.
Sometimes I was reading somewhere that government projects, for example, they don't run agile. Like for example, if they want to build a big dam or something, they know how they gonna plan it and do it. They don't need agile in those kind of situations as well. But wherever you are ambiguous about what you exactly need, you don't know what you need, then you will need iterations. Interesting.
And even for government projects, Anshul, I will tell you that I have got chance to train a lot of people in government of Singapore, and there
Okay.
happens when we talk about government projects, we have phases. We have
Hmm.
phases of collecting your need, then comes when you circulate the tender, then comes you evaluate the tender, then comes the next phase where you award a tender to someone,
Hmm.
then comes a phase when the people are working to prepare or fulfill what you have awarded the tender for. So these
Hmm.
phases will be fixed, but within this phase, you can bring agility.
Hmm.
So when you are evaluating the need before identifying the tender or you will say circulating a tender, what we have discussed with them, that one thing, what have been your pains when the tenders have been circulated? They told that out of 20 people who applied, only one or two are actually qualified. I told them, why don't you want, or do you want all the 20 to be qualified? They say, yes, we want them because more competitive it would be better for us. Then I told them that let's look at all the levels or all the criteria based on which it is getting rejected. And why can't you be a bit more flexible with your things? So what they did, they have actually started pulling people who could be vendors to fulfill the tender in that phase itself, where they are
Hmm.
exploring the need, so that they are enabling the vendors to be more successful in applying for the tender and may getting chance to award the tender also. So it just have to be looked through different frame, Anshul.
Hmm.
Everything will be bring an agility. I'll just give you one example. I'm sorry, I'm just extending it.
No, no.
By,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
by bringing agile ways of working, I have actually saved a divorce of my friend also.
Oh,
I'll tell you how.
that's interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So what happened that I was consulting at his firm, and then he just came up one day to me and said that, Anuj, you are bringing these post-its and preparing these boards and everything around. Um, is agile, like, can it be applied everywhere? My thing is, yes, you may apply it everywhere. I mean, it's not like you can't apply. You can apply practices of agile anywhere you want to. Now, idea is it going to help you or not? Is another question. So he asked me,
Hmm.
okay, fine. I want to share something to you that I'm going through tough time. And then he started talking more about it. And he told me, can you help? I said, okay, I don't know, but I can try something. So I started exploring with him that what is the wrong thing that you're doing. So everything boils down to one important aspect. He had a habit of forgetting. Okay, so of course, here, like, you as a couple expect something from each other. What you expect most is a respect. Now, I ask you to do something and you forget. That somehow gives the message to me that I am not a priority for you. That's why you've forgotten it, right? You might have priority of work. Anybody calls you from the office, you do the things right away. Your friends are calling you for beer, you will go right away. But when your partner, your spouse is asking for something, you are not giving it a priority. It means you have taken not taking good care of her. So here, this was the one thing we came up to it, and he accepted that it's his fault. So he told me that how can I keep up with it? So my suggestion to him was, on your refrigerator, just put two post-its there. Today, and next post-it is done, column. Okay, and now make a column. Request your wife that every day, while she's giving the tiffin, imagine that he is doing such a bad job at home, but wife was still giving him tiffin. Okay, so I asked him that, ask your wife to write on the post-it whatever she wants you to do before by today or something like that. So she has written on the post-it and she put it on the refrigerator. One rule for him was, before leaving from home, he has to pull that post-it along with the tiffin. Otherwise, he's not allowed to take the tiffin. Take the post-it first, then you take the tiffin, leave. And you are not supposed to come home unless you can strike off everything and move the post-it to done column. It has happened scenarios when he has entered the home, he has forgotten the post-it, and suddenly he has left the home again to get the job done. It has happened to him that he is in the market not able to get something done. He called and told that, hey, you know what, I tried it, I remembered it, but I still couldn't do it. Is it all right for today? It was like 30 days he followed that rule, and suddenly he figured out it's not that practice, its practice is called Kanban. So it's not just the Kanban helped him, I will say. What was the core problem it tried to solve? First problem it tried to solve is visualization. You should always have something to visualize the work and the progress. Number two, continuous validation. Every time when he was doing something, he was also getting validation from his spouse that is this exactly what she wanted or not. Number three, learning your end user well. Okay. Now, earlier before you were assuming that you know your partner, but now what is happening with this technique? Your partner is more exposed to you, or you are more exposed to your end user. You are trying to understand what is that, what is the pattern which is coming up. The pattern coming up is like very necessities of home which he was not able to fulfill, and the wife couldn't go out of home because she has to do certain things. So those patterns were also starting to get visualized. After 30 days, he told me that, Anuj, I have been wasting my life so much onto doing certain things which were thankless for me. I have got my grip again, and now they are again happy. Last I talked to him 1 month back, and things are going pretty well. And this,
Wow.
yeah,
Wow, this is so enlightening. I never felt, I never thought it that way. I think it's fabulous to understand that agile is a mindset game. It's all about implementing it whichever way you want to.
yeah,
But you called a very interesting term Kanban. Everyone would like to know what is Scrum versus what is Kanban.
absolutely. So Scrum is not an acronym. Number one, there is nothing. S stands for, C stands for, R stands for. Scrum is a word which has been taken from rugby. Rugby is a game which I have never seen in my life, but I can tell you from the picture that it's a sport where the ball is in the center and people huddle around. That formation is called the scrum. Okay, why that name come up? Because idea here is we should have a common shared goal for which we all come together and work together and succeed. Kanban is a Japanese term which came from ticket or visualizing the work. Okay, just imagine that anything that you do at your work, there should be a ticket on the board. If there is no ticket on the board, it means you are not working. Simple like that. So if you might have seen those columns like to do, in progress, done. Those all things are called information radiators. So
Hmm.
Kanban is not actually just a board. It is board. Preparing a board is just one of the principle of Kanban, which is called visualizing the work. Other principles of Kanban are like pull the work, not push the work.
Hmm.
So, moment you assign the work to people, Anshul, that's called pushing the work. When you assign something, it means a person may capable or may not be capable of that, but that person has to do it. It's like
Hmm.
command and control. But if you create an environment where, as and when you get free, you just go to the board in the one column before and you pull the work and start working onto it. Nobody is commanding you. It's you who feel that I am working for my team. I want to make things done. This item needs to be done sooner. Now I am free. I can go and take that work. So that
Hmm.
vibe is also of
I
Kanban.
think there's a lot of confusion. I don't know if it exists today, but a lot of people equate Agile with Scrum, while Scrum is only maybe 60-70% of the market. It's the most used framework. But then something like Kanban, because I was running Kanban in my support team, and it was very healthy because see all these lingos and putting it into a very rigid framework of it's not an easy game, right? But with Scrum, it's so intuitive. You pull something and you move it ahead, and then things where where you're getting tickets continuously and all, it fits well. So
Yeah,
my question is this: be it waterfall or be it Kanban or be it Scrum,
yeah,
can you give some scenarios where like you gave a scenario of waterfall plus Scrum
yeah.
in a government Singapore government contract thing, like where they mixed a bit of waterfall and bit of Scrum in a hybrid approach.
Right.
So can we do that kind of a hybrid thing in combining Scrum and Kanban?
I'm so happy that you asked me this question because this is the common confusion all around where the moment somebody says that we are doing Scrum, 99.9% you know that they are using Scrum. So, like Agile equal to Scrum for them in their mind. So, I'll give you this perspective now. Uh, when you know what to be done, okay, when you know what to be done, you have a goal which is clear in front of you, and you also know that this end user uh, may or may not like what you are looking for. You need continuous validation. The requirements can evolve, requirement can change, and what you have done, it might have happened, it may not be needed anymore. Like remember Orkut, we are
Hmm.
not using it anymore, right?
Hmm.
What happens to BlackBerry? Gone out of market. Okay, there are so many things which we have in Nokia. Remember, Anshul,
Hmm.
it might be our first
Hmm.
phone that we have taken
Yes,
in.
yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
once upon a time, market leader, out of market. Remember the snake game that we used to play? It's
Yes,
not
yes.
there anymore. So, moment you are having a clarity of goal, but you know that it needs validation continuously, that itself becomes eligible for Scrum. Okay.
Okay.
When you don't know in the morning what will come in the evening, and in the evening you have no idea how your next day will start, Kanban is important. Okay, Kanban is
Hmm.
for managing the flow. When you don't have a luxury to plan, you told you were working for operations team, you don't know what is the next ticket going to come. You have no idea, maybe by this night are we going to leave on time, or we will be doing overtime if something got like P1 issue came, or L1 team has given something which we have to fix it. So that is when Kanban is helpful. Kanban is a very lightweight approach. Sometime in 1940-45, it started with the Toyota production system. They came with this Kanban approach to look at the flow of work at the assembly line, how things are moving all around. We have learned from there. So Agile is not new. Agile is hundreds of years back. In 1920,
Hmm.
also they came with IIDD, Iterative and Incremental Design Development by Deming. So this was not having a buzzword called Agile. It this approach gave agility, but the buzzword of Agile came in 2001 when the Agile Manifesto got popularized. Okay. Otherwise, everybody was doing something. You are agile in your ways. I am agile in my ways. Everybody's doing. So agile, which is famous today, or I don't know, at some places it's infamous because of the structured approach it brings it. So was Scrum, when you know what to be done and you want to seek validation, Scrum will be helpful. So Kanban, when you don't know in the morning what will happen in the evening, you have no idea how your next day will start. Then Kanban will
Hmm.
be Domino's is a good example of Kanban. When they guarantee you delivery of pizza in 30 minutes, what have they done? They have first identified the end-to-end flow. They eliminated all the waste. They have reduced the lead time and cycle time. Okay, so
Hmm.
you can get the quickest or fastest delivery of the pizza at your home. You can experience that you are sitting in the restaurant having the pizza. So that's a Kanban.
Hmm.
Extreme programming. I'll give you this also. XP is also very popular. Anshul,
Hmm.
our audience who are knowing about refactoring, test-driven development, CI/CD, and all those aspects, these all practices are of
But I would really appreciate, just give one or two liners for everything which you are calling out, these terminologies. So
yes.
let's start with the extreme programming.
Extreme programming is again another approach where when you are in an environment when releasing is a routine, you are not having a release of 6 months or 3 months. You are in an environment that almost every day, couple of times, or maybe in a week, at least 2, 3 times, you want to release something to the market. So in that case, you don't have a luxury to elicit the requirements in detail and so on. Your customer is also sitting with you in your team all around and making sure that the person is giving the requirement. You're continuously developing a solution, you're releasing it also right away. So that's when
Hmm.
extreme programming brings that highest degree of agility in the system also with you. But that
Hmm.
environment needs it, like e-commerce platform, Anshul. At
Hmm.
Amazon, I don't know how many releases they might be doing on everyday basis. So there's the extreme
So
programming.
does these Kanbans, extreme programmings, and I'll ask about Lean as well, or TDD, does it follow other frameworks? Like here we have the product owner Scrum. How you define the roles who would work on these kind of things, or is it a traditional IT kind of a project setup with Lean or XP or TDD?
I'll tell you. So, product owner purely focused to requirements, learning from the market, listening to the market, continuously
So
making
so
sure.
it's a common role across all. You're
Yeah, yeah.
saying.
Product owner is
Okay.
like is a survey server. It's like it's all around. Product owner is like very requirement focused. Scrum Master is a facilitator. It's like a coach, mentor,
Mhm.
horizontal.
But do you want to say that a product owner is needed for Kanban or for Lean for XP as well, or is it just Scrum?
As per the way how it happens, product owner is a role of Scrum only. But I'll
Right.
tell you, Anshul, I might have touched around 250 plus teams in my career so far as a
Mhm.
consultant and as an employee and whatever. There has been no such team where I haven't did hybrid. You can't just say that
Okay.
this project is purely Scrum, this project is purely Kanban, this project is purely XP. No, no, no. Anshul, I'll give you idea. When you have been working into Scrum projects, you might have heard about a keyword called user story
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
or a story point. You know from where this concept is coming, it's coming from extreme programming. People don't even know they are using it in Scrum only. Okay.
Oh.
The moment when you use Kanban, that the moment you use Scrum board, right, to do in
Hmm.
progress done, that is never a Scrum thing. It is coming from Kanban. Okay. The moment we started talking about, you know what, we want a self-organizing team, and they will be having the culture of pulling the work, not pushing the work. You know that it's coming from Kanban. While you are saying it into Scrum, How do you know that when we use story point or other concept, there is a concept called planning poker. People have
Hmm. Hmm.
Fibonacci series to estimate. This concept is coming from extreme programming. Okay, talk
So
to
why
any.
didn't they become so popular, and why Scrum went ahead?
This is what you use the word popular. Popularity is based on how the marketing is done, Anshul. Okay, so
Okay.
what happened
Okay.
that marketing of Scrum has happened pretty much. I'll tell you how. There are institutes like Scrum Alliance,
Hmm.
Scrum.org, and there are so many other places where Scrum has been used or worked. And one more thing, it is popular also because it is easy to understand. You
Hmm.
need to put effort to learn other approaches. Okay, those
Hmm.
those approaches might have not been explained in a simple matter, but since
Hmm.
it's my bread and butter, so I have to learn it. And when I learned it, I figured out that hey, one second, these are so much used everywhere around. Why are we putting everything into umbrella of Scrum? So idea
Hmm.
is we should. I will tell you the way how we should use it. Our approach should be what? Okay, our approach should not be uh, just a rigid follower of any of the one approach. If I say Scrum, Kanban, XP as in approaches, different approaches to be agile, our approach is to pull the practices from each and every approach and find our own balance. I'll give you this idea. You might have heard about Moscow for prioritization:
Hmm.
must have, should have, could have, and won't have. So many companies are using Moscow, they don't even know it came from DSDM. That's one of the
Hmm.
approach in the
What's
Moscow.
what's DSDM? Could you just
DSDM is again another popular approach. Anshul, don't even ask me. There are so many keywords and terms all around.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. I'll find it out and put it in somewhere in the text or somewhere.
yeah.
I
So
think it should also be some sort of a
yes, some approach. One day we will
abbreviation.
discuss about that too, because you may
Okay.
figure out, Anshul, that over the course of time, the today's state of agility is we are right now using what is prescriptive.
Hmm.
I have a humble request to all the participants of this call is learn all the prescriptive things, but
Hmm.
do not lose what you have it here. Be pragmatic, do
Hmm.
whatever you want, believe in continuous experimentation, and
Hmm.
always try to have a minimum blast radius. Okay,
Hmm.
because
What's a blast radius? Could you explain that for us?
Absolutely. So blast radius means suddenly somebody thought that, hey, I have learned about this new cool technique. Let's do it into the project. And now what happened because of that, the project got delayed by 2 months. Okay. Hey, you know
Hmm.
what? Let's migrate everything from this tool to another tool because you know what, this tool gives this feature. But that migration itself has taken 3 weeks of time, and because of that, some of your data privacy laws are getting breached. Okay, so that's again a blast radius. My take is you
Hmm.
want to apply any approach, go for it. But try to do it in a
Hmm.
small capacity so that you can digest and figure out the best that is it working for you or not. And then
Hmm.
gradually move on, Anshul. That may help
Hmm.
everyone. So
Which what we call as a minimum viable product. Try to come up with a MVP and see how it's working. So I think by now everyone has a fair understanding of what are the basic fundamentals of agile, what is Scrum, what is Kanban, TDD. What is TDD? Could you just quickly explain
yes,
that as well?
yes, Anshul, it's a test-driven development. Whereas what developers have been doing before is they write the unit test cases after writing the logic, which is just a way to prove that whatever I have written is awesome. And this is not the right way. Right way is you have to first write a unit test case first, because once you put the unit test cases around as a fence, then you start writing the logic, and those unit test cases will continuously keep on failing your logic because they are the boundaries. You just can't write anything, everything, right? And once you
Mm,
implement the logic, which is now passed, which has been passed by all the unit test cases, which has been run, then you do a refactoring after that. Refactoring is removing the duplication and needless complexity around the code. Yeah.
okay. So I think by now we have set a good background to what is agile, what is Scrum. The best advice which has come so far, which I could summarize, is try to get hands-on experience. But now I would talk about some hard skills and soft skills and the career path. If we have to chalk out a very definite career path, because there are things which are subjective, but there are things which are objective.
Right.
So if a fresher or maybe a 5 year or 10 year or in fact 15-year experienced guy wants to suddenly switch careers, because some are completely technical guys who don't want to work on technical things anymore,
Yeah.
what would be the step by step approach which you would say? And this includes any certifications, any courses, what would be your skills, or do they need to learn products like Jira? How you would approach that?
Very good question, Anshul. So, yes, let's start with these tools also first. Jira, Azure DevOps, Rally, Version 1. There are many tools today in the market. Having a tool knowledge will never hurt. It is actually a plus for you because if we use the tool like Jira, I mean, I remember when I started my career 17 years back, I have been using Jira. It's super old. So Atlassian products have tried to evolve with course of time. Likewise, Azure DevOps is also very popular these days because of Microsoft products are all around. So even they are all trying to evolve as much as happened today, and also almost everyone, all the products carry the agile tone. They all give.
Confluence.
Confluence is a Atlassian product like a wiki. It's a wiki
Hmm.
where you can have a knowledge center. You can create their templates and
but
put
but
everything.
it's is it good to have that learning experience on that, like how to create? Because I've seen that to have your main central knowledge base around that,
Yeah, yeah,
even in agile projects.
yeah. It's a warehousing of knowledge. It's like a Google Drive.
Okay, Google Drive. Yes,
Like
yes.
a Google Drive, you restore everything there. That's fine. But
Hmm.
Jira is pretty dynamic in nature, where you can manage your backlog, where you can create sprint, where you can see the progress of the work the team is doing on a virtual board. Like we have physical,
Hmm.
right? We can have virtual board, and
Do you
we
have
can
any
also.
resources like how to learn? If someone wants, see, there is one thing which is practical hands on, but if someone is sitting at home or still waiting for his chance to get, are there any resources from where all these tools or products could be learned online?
Yeah, exactly. I'll tell you the way how I also learn. Uh, every tool provides a free instance, Anshul. Okay.
Okay. Hmm.
Yeah, just go and download the free instance, plug and play, start using it. Don't
Okay.
plug and play with your company because there are privacy policy. At least for your personal sake, download it and start exploring all the features that you can see today into
Maybe
that.
in a household project.
Household projects. Even
Hmm.
we have started at Benzene also we make a lot of videos, and if you
Hmm.
search at YouTube also a lot of other videos on Jira and ADO, they will find it. But idea is don't start from there right away.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
just download that instance, free version. It is intuitive. They will keep on guiding you. And I'll tell you also, Anshul, that be it Atlassian, be it ADO, that means Azure DevOps, they all have their own tutorials also. Okay.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
anytime you want to know anything, you can simply refer to the source. Okay.
Hmm.
And that will be guiding you well. So my take is start by just creating your account into the cloud instance of any of the tool. Plug and play, you will automatically learn as much as you need to there. And then when you go into any company, of course, there are certain access controls. So you may not be
Hmm.
able to see a lot of things that you could do in your personal instance because you are their admin. But there
Hmm.
you are not having that much resources. But yeah, you can manage to do it well.
Okay, perfect. From certification standpoint, CSM, we have already talked about certified Scrum Master. I would want you to just shed some light as we are coming to an end of this podcast. There is a CSM and then there is a PSM.
Yeah.
Professional Scrum Master, Certified Scrum Master. These are two different organizations, as you just said. Who
Yes.
should do what? Because there are so many. So, and what are the places from where they can enroll for some certifications like these?
Makes sense. So first and foremost, we need to know what are the different personas that we have today into agile industry, and what are they called?
Mhm.
Scrum Master, Product Owner, Development Team. Okay. For these three, you will get a lot of certification, even from Scrum Alliance. You will get it from Professional Scrum Alliance, Scrum.org. That also is there. There is something called IC Agile. It is also there. Even if your company is following SAFe, okay, Scaled Agile Framework, okay, uh,
Mhm.
to which people can learn at scaledagileparamework.com. They can also go through that. So where the scaling agile is happening using the SAFe method, SAFe
Mhm.
also has certification for Scrum Master, Product Owner, and
Mhm.
also there is a certification called SAFe for Teams. They can also
Mhm.
get certified there, just to get that idea. So this is first of all different person. Now what all Anshul we have today in the market? I'll give you more ideas on that. So first of all, there are agile coach certification also. So what is the difference between a scrum master and a coach? At a very high level, I'll give you
Yeah, we
first.
didn't discuss the agile coach part. Yeah, please
Yes.
do that. Yeah.
Scrum master is a role very localized for one team. Okay. Now, what is happening that over the course of time, people are saying that we don't need a master of Scrum or Scrum Master only, because there could be a possibility that people think that whatever is the problem, we will only use Scrum to solve. So they want a role which is much more broader. That role which
Mm,
can understand, to bring agility, who can use Scrum or Kanban or XP or anything needed. So they are calling that role
mm,
more as a team coach, a person who is deployed at the level of the team or multi teams to bring agility, or who is continuously supporting those focused people also who are more process focused. Somebody could
mm,
be Kanban focused or a Scrum focused. They are also helping them to succeed or bring the right change that they need to bring. That's the coach role. So coach
mm,
is not confined or not just inclined towards one of the approach. That person has a better breadth of knowledge than others.
mhm. So coming back to CSM versus PSM debate, I
Yes.
think these are two different. So CSM is offered by
Scrum
Scrum.org,
Alliance. Scrum
Scrum
Alliance
Alliance,
and
Scrum
PSM.
Alliance, and PSM is Scrum.org.
Scrum.org, right.
Okay,
Yes.
and I think there is levels PSM 1, PSM 2, PSM
Yeah.
3.
Three, yes.
But it has no expiry, I guess, right? Once you do it, you have it, right? But in
Even
here,
Scrum.
you have to renew for every 3 years, I guess. CSM.
Yes, so here you need renewal, but renewal is not a challenge also, Anshul, because I'll tell you that if you are aware of PMI, PMI talks about certain units like PDUs.
Hmm.
So if you collect those PDUs either by attending a session or going to a conference or reading a book, they have certain levels, categories against which you can do. Likewise, Scrum Alliance also provides SEU. So these
Okay.
SEUs are also put into various category. If you have done this, if you have done that, so you can claim that I have done this and that, and then when the right time will come, when you need to renew your certificate, okay, there you can apply it, and it will also get, you will again back retain your certification. Okay,
Hmm,
so
hmm,
that
hmm,
is
hmm, hmm.
also possible there. So idea
Okay.
is again, see, when we go for certification, I always ask my students that what is your intent, because
Hmm,
until getting certified in agile is not same as getting certified as MBBS or be
hmm,
a doctor.
hmm,
Okay,
hmm,
a doctor is a different, because somebody's life is in your hand. Okay, when we
hmm,
talk about people getting certified in agile approaches, they what they get in the mind is promotion, or they
hmm,
get in mind changing a job. Okay, so for them, what my suggestion is, get these any of the certification. There is no one in the market who can say that CSM is better than PSM or vice versa, or somebody who can. I will tell them to just contact me also if they need to, because there is no one who can simply say, hey, you are not PSM, so you are not good. No, it's not like that.
hmm,
Knowledge is same, the wrapper is different.
hmm,
Okay,
hmm, hmm,
go for a PSM, you go for a CSM, don't worry, it's okay. Look at the budget that you have. Okay,
hmm,
idea here is, for that change that you want to bring into the place, or for the purpose for which you are getting hired, have you learned enough or not? So my suggestion, Anshul, would be read a lot of books if you do not have
hmm,
experience. Okay,
hmm,
one thing is that. Another thing is, try to apply what you learned in your old project experiences. So you already might have had a experience in waterfall model. Imagine that you become a coach in your mind, and
hmm,
same project is going to come now or in future. How are you going to
hmm,
design the process framework for your respective team? Videos are very helpful, but videos are helpful when you want to expedite your knowledge, when you make it bit faster.
hmm,
Books will give you time to read and sit over it for certain time.
hmm.
You can make your notes and something like that. Yes.
In every podcast, at the end of the podcast, we ask for books, and you have, as you said, read from the books. Give us some books. Give us some books which we could read.
Okay. Now there are so many books, Anshul.
Hmm.
For every role, there are different one. I will say for Scrum Masters to
Hmm.
start with, they can start with retrospective,
Hmm.
uh, a About retrospective, let me just give me a second. I'll just tell
Mhm.
you. I'm just not recalling right away.
There is a book called The Phoenix Project around DevOps. Does it also include the flavor around how to do things in Agile? Or
Absolutely. So Phoenix
I have
project
not
is
read
also,
it, by the way. So
Phoenix project is also about how can you create any of the
I
project.
think there's a book from Jeff Sutherland, the founder of this whole Scrum Alliance or something. I think
Yes,
it is around Scrum. There's a red cover book, which is
yes,
very famous. I don't recall the exact name, but don't no worries. If we don't have the names, we'll put it in the description later, maybe.
yes.
But
For the people who are going to learn Scrum, I'll simply say that go and download the Scrum guide from the scrum.org. They are
that's a good one. Yeah.
That's where we can start with. But if you ask me about the book, I just found out it's Agile Retrospectives, which is Making Good Teams Great by Esther Derby and Diana Larson. Why retrospective? Because a person who is getting into Agile world first need to know that it's all about failing. It's all about learning from a failure. It's okay that we may not have been right before. We can be right.
Hmm.
We may think that we could be right in the next 10 days, and again it's okay to find out that you were still wrong. Okay,
Hmm.
so retrospectives will help you into first knowing that failure is okay. You cannot be perfect. You can't have perfect answer every time. Okay, so if they can start reading this approach, they can also start applying in their personal life. Anshul, so my take
Hmm.
is before they go for any of these, they should do that. And also, just to suggest you one certification, if they could do, one of my favorite one is PMI ACP. It's called
Okay.
PMI is the institute name, Project Management
Hmm.
Institute, and ACP is Agile Certified Practitioner. And you know why I
Oh.
love it? Yeah. I love it, Anshul. Why? Because in this entire course outline you will go through, they have not mentioned about Scrum, Kanban, XP, whatever. They have simply talked about the values which are needed for agility. Okay, now number one. Number two, they suggest some 13 to 15 books that you have to read to pass. Okay.
Hmm.
Now,
Hmm.
13
Hmm.
books, they are not even saying that this is one thing that you go through and it will be done. No, no, no. You go through 13 to 15 books and it will happen. Number three, they expect you to have certain degree of hands-on experience, then only you are eligible for certification. So
Hmm.
some 1,000 hours or something they have, that if you don't have this much of experience, you are not qualified, you're not fitting it. So there is a kind of mandate in the prerequisite itself that you should have been into environment before you apply for the exam.
Hmm.
Okay. Number four, they also expect you to go through some 21 hours of contact trainings. Okay. That it's okay that you have practiced something, but learn from someone who knows better. Okay.
Hmm.
That is
Hmm.
also, and beautiful part again is I think there are some 120 questions. I used to give the trainings for the PMI certificate. I have like left it 3 4 years back, but I gave a lot of these trainings before, and after my training, you are not certified. You were
Hmm.
supposed to go to the Romantic Center and apply for the exam, which is of 3 hours. In
Hmm.
3 hours exam, I think they used to give 120 questions, Anshul. And out of those 120 questions, some 20 questions are hidden. Some, I mean, they don't have marks at all.
Hmm.
Okay. So you might have given those questions also right answer, but it doesn't have a mark to it. So now there
Right.
are these questions which are spread across multiple focus areas. Okay, and you
Hmm.
have read well, and it is not an easy exam. The people who might have done PMP or Prince 2, they know how tough it is. Likewise, PMI ACP is also expecting you to have a breadth of knowledge along with the
Hmm.
depth. The other
Hmm.
certifications like CSM or PSM, it only tells you about Scrum and in its depth. There are
Hmm.
Kanban certification, it tells you about Kanban and its depth. Okay. There's SAFe certification, they also talks about SAFe and one of the role that you are going for. PMICP is like a complete circle. It's like
Hmm.
apply for it. It's a journey of 4 6 months. You will keep on reading, learning. You go to the website, they will tell you everything. So that was one certificate. I really liked it because if somebody does that PMICP, I have a respect for that person because
Hmm.
of course there are dumps available everywhere around for all the exams. Like come on, you know that.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Dumps
Hmm.
are available everywhere. But if you tell yourself that I'm not going to refer to any dumps, I'm
Hmm.
going to buy those 200 questions or 800 questions question bank. I will simply learn and do it. I will tell you one thing. After 6 months, that person is far more beyond those people who are just talkers, but they don't even know the deeper concepts. So that's what my thinking is.
Perfect, perfect. I think we have covered so much. I didn't realize that we have covered such a wide kind of knowledge around agile. I don't know how it flew. The time just flew. Whenever we talk, it happens. But as we come close to the end of this podcast, I would like to know how people could contact you at Benzene if they want to apply for a job, if they want any mentorship from you, or if there are any business opportunities to work with you for agile transformations, how people could approach you or
Thank you
your
so much.
company.
Thanks a lot for giving this chance. So we have our website. It is www.benzene.com, and please make sure that you should not put the right spelling of benzene, otherwise you won't find it. It is
Okay.
Benzne, so spelling should be wrong. Then only you will be able to find us. Why benzene? Benzne, because the domain name was super expensive, Anshul, and
Okay.
with
I think
what we
I did that mistake sending the email to you. I guess now I realize I added the e, and that's why it didn't went for the
same
first
goes.
time. Okay, okay. So
You
it's
might have
there's no e. Okay.
yes. So
So
it is
it's BENZN. Okay. Okay.
zne.com. We have a lot of materials for everyone who might be listening it. We put a lot of blogs. We believe in sharing as much as we could. So one is that. Even we have contact us page there, and even they don't have to worry. Even to me, and I have a co-founder Alok, they can, or to any employee also of Benzene, they can just drop a message or hi on LinkedIn. We are always there to support people. But if they can do to me, Anuj and Alok, uh, hi or whatever they have in the mind, we will take it from
They
there.
can contact you on LinkedIn as well. You're
Yeah,
so active
yeah,
on LinkedIn. Yeah.
100%. So just don't have to see. We are bootstrap, Anshul. We are
Hmm.
4.5 years young company, and one thing is core values of life and also core values of firm. We have done a lot of engagements which are not monetary all the time, and we are also supporting many firms who cannot afford to pay us. At the same time, we do have customers who are very premier in nature. So for us, we believe that everything is in a flux, and if we can play our part into stabilizing it, nothing more than that. So they can just reach us out. They can reach you also, Anshul. And
Hmm.
if you feel that anywhere we could be helpful to your participants in the journey of their agile, just drop a message to us.
Yes, and I
And
think you have a YouTube channel as well. So I'll I'll
100%.
I'll, I'll put all these handles and links in the description so that anyone who wants to contact you or your team could do
Yes.
that.
100%. Yes.
Perfect. I think Anuj, this was by far the most comfortable podcast I had, because sometimes I do a lot of practice, understand, do research and all, but this time I knew that if you are there, I don't have to talk much. You will handle the show as you have always done. So
Yeah.
thanks for taking out time. If people come out and they say that we need Anuj Ojha once again, I might bore you with another request of coming to this podcast on some other topic around agile or something else. But for this time, thank you so much for taking out time for this podcast. I really appreciate it. And yeah, all the best for your journey with Benzene.
Thank you so much, Anshul, and wish you all the best also for all your endeavors. You are doing a great job. I mean, uh, when I heard about ITK Funday, that time you were just starting with it, and today when I see it so popular and you are spreading knowledge to so many people, it's really worthy. I believe Benzene has not got platform like this big yet. You are a big platform to us. So thank you so much for calling us out, and we will be available for you anytime when you want to have a good time.
Thank you, Anuj. Thank you so much.